All right, Craig is now recording. It's been a long time, but welcome back to the SPNatI podcast. I don't even remember what it was called. Enter the inventory, I think.
Welcome to the inventory. And in honor of those that came before, we are now just the SPNatI podcast. We could never quite live up to the magic of what hosts came before.
Yes. So if you weren't around,
this includes the new main host, by the way, spnanon. So
if you weren't around back in the day, back in the good old days of 2018 and 19. So there was a SPNatI podcast that started in April 2018 by our good friend Zuja, who is a retired SPNatI dev, and I was there as the co-host. And then 4 episodes in, they left, and then it was Joe and me. Joe, who is now also a retired SPNatI dev, although he might come back, who knows? And anyway, he and I did that for about 37 episodes, so quite a bit longer. We brought guests in all the time. And if you're not familiar,
SPNanons woke up to justice again. So we are back live and reloaded with me, nmasp, as the co-host.
SPNatI, by the way, strip poker night at the inventory. Big Rule 34 internet crossover game where you write your waifu and then watch her fuck herself, basically.
It's Smash with titties.
But in a very tasteful way.
Yeah.
In a very, this is, in character.
They're not allowed
anyway.
to each other.
So I'm spnanon. I made a few characters from an anime called Van Dread that no one's heard of, and then helped on one character called Revi from Black Lagoon, which is an anime that some people have heard of. And then there's Ryuko Matoi in there somewhere. But anyway, my co-host, nmasp, why don't you go ahead and say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm nmasp. I've been on some of the podcast episodes in the before times. At present, I am a developer moderator on the subreddit and development Discord. I've made a bunch of different characters in SPNatI. The ones that you're probably aware of right now are, at time of this recording, Akko, Futaba, and Natsuki, who tend to do pretty well. Less well known are Mulan and Sei, and then there's a few others that aren't getting updates, and I have a revival project that I'll be talking about later.
All right, good deal. Now we have our 2 guests. We always try to have 2 guests each podcast for a nice healthy 4-man table. So first guest, CorkyTheCactus. Go ahead and say hi. Say who you worked on.
It sounds so gruesome when you call it a table like that. So yeah, I'm CorkyTheCactus. I made Emmy from Katawa Shoujo. I'm working on Asuka Langley Soryu from Evangelion. That's my next character.
Hey man, I'm hyped.
I am too. I'm really excited to try somebody different for once. I'm getting a little bit Emmy's great, but she's got a very normal, nice scroll voice, and I'm kind of running out of things for her to say. I don't know how you write 14,000 lines for one character, but
God, Natsuki Asuka, that's going to be a table of just repression.
Well, man doesn't know what a penis is, and I can get a lot out of that.
All right.
Yeah, but dude, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
And last up, we have the great WibblyWarble, our newest creator. Not newest in newest person to join, the newest on this table.
Yep.
Most recent, came into the picture last year.
The Kohai here.
With a bang, in fact.
With an explosion.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Wibbly. You can call me Wibbly, you can call me WibblyWarble, but don't call me Dr. WibblyWarble. I only leave that for my friends to call me that. But I made Megumin, and that's my main primary one. I've been working a little bit on Darkness recently, so that's been fun and coming along well. Strong Konosuba trend. I'm a massive fan. But yeah.
I did not have the chance to mention my kind of current project. The first character I ever made for SPNatI is Marinette, who is also known as Ladybug from the miraculous adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir. I am also including Cat Noir this time, and I'm really looking forward to see how people react.
By the way.
What?
That's her boy toy.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting project. I hope people like it and don't feel NTR'd. That's the goal is have nobody feel NTR'd, and because I got yelled at so much for it's just oh, why is Pitt cucking me? I just want to bang Natsuki. It's just get over it. Come on, man.
Cat Noir just gonna fuck Marinette right there in the table.
no, you're gonna fuck Cat Noir right there and then on the table, and she has to watch.
All right, it's reverse NTR.
But she's into it, so it's okay.
Are they going to be two separate characters, or is it like a Ryuko thing?
Two separate characters. You should be able to play them.
It's like a pop team epic thing.
Yeah, you should be able to have a fun time playing them individually, but if you play them together, I wanted to make that an experience that was not incredibly frustrating, just given that they are kind of characters that are in a relationship. So I wanted to make that something that was pretty flexible for the table, and also if I didn't write Cat Noir, eventually someone would, and it keeps me up at night, and I can't have that.
Yeah. Marinette was in the game for a long time, and I just recently realized, holy shit, nmasp actually took her off.
Yeah, I just
silently in the night.
Yeah,
I just did my surreptitious Gestapo moves, as I'm well known as a jackbooted moderator in some ways, and I just moved her to the offline version just because the version that was there hasn't seen updates in like over a year, and it just isn't a good representative sample. And because it's so close to kind of like I could put Marinette and Adrian on the testing tables like this second, and they would work just fine. The problem is like they don't have the right amount of dialogue to each other, which is something that I really want to make sure I get right from the get-go, and people aren't just like, oh, this sucks. On the other hand, maybe I'm spending thousands of lines to go in the wrong direction, and people are going to be very upset with me, and we'll find out about that experience when we get there. That's okay. Time. Yeah.
All right. So very briefly with my new projects, I really don't have any. I have a couple models hanging around, but for the most part, I'm in full maintenance mode because kind of like the math. I'm a sort of an elder statesman at this point, and my character's generic lines are very old, and I just want to give them that fresh coat of paint. I've even been like rewatching Van Dred and be like, I think I got their voices down a little bit better. I know how to write them a little bit better. So I want to go back Revy 2 and just kind of make them a lot more appealing and a lot, give them a lot like, more consistent voice. Still writing targets. I'm still like adding new poses and stuff whenever the mood strikes me. And I really want to expand their epilogues too, give them better animations. Phonebox just did a great little modeling favor for me, which will help expand some of their epilogues a bit. I teased that, but I didn't show what it was.
Is it? Are you making the expansion joke because it's a penis?
No.
Oh.
The only penis is yours.
Okay.
Were you ever planning to write Tatsumaki, or was that just a model project?
Fubuki, you mean?
Fubuki, sorry.
Yeah, Fubuki from One Punch Man. I mean, I have a model for her. I actually have all of her poses and stuff, so I could write her. It's just right now I'm not in a place where I feel super comfortable like moving on to a new project. I want to have my other girls like in a place that I'm really happy with. So if I do choose to like go on in the future, I can look back and be like, oh, okay, I can leave them alone for a little while. Because I feel like I never did that at any point in the last 2 years, and I really should have. So I'm just doing it now and be like, let's get them in a really, really good place that I'm happy with, so I can eventually move on. So we'll see.
I can vouch for that method, certainly. Like, I don't think any of the characters that I abandoned, except for maybe one, are in a bad place, but I just don't have fun working on them anymore. So I kind of let them exist.
I'm kind of like that with Ryuko now, where I could give her more lines, but
I just don't want to.
Aside from targeted lines, I think she's fine. Like, I think she's about the way she'll always be.
She's good.
I mean, if someone does want to update her, go right for it. Just we can talk about it. I won't give her away to just anybody. I want you to have like at least a writing sample to be like, okay, you can like end a sentence with a period.
Yeah.
Which
really high expectations there.
Which eludes some people.
It's that's always a question. All right, so
Corky is being timekeeper now, but
I'm chatting. I'm sending this to like the Discord channel that no one can see. So, Solitaire is editing this, right? Yeah.
All right, so Corky Wibbly, I know you kind of talked about this already, but do you want to say anything quick about your upcoming projects? Anything else you missed?
I don't really have much else to say. I mean, in terms of Asuka, I'm just working on the model first. I want to get that totally done before I even start writing, because it's a really ambitious model. I'm trying to do the plug suit because I want to go big or go home. And if I can't nail it, I'm not going to write the character. So
thank you for plug suit and not school outfit. Asuka.
I would totally not be okay with just doing a school outfit, because when she's got that interesting of an outfit to use. The only problem is figuring out how to do a layer count with it.
Well, I mean, I just had Maya wear underneath it, even though she probably wouldn't.
Yeah, just expansion. Just have a suit malfunction.
Thermal start off with like big expanded balloon Asuka.
The first everyone's been asking for that, and I feel like if I don't deliver, it's
put it in an epilogue. Just put it in an epilogue.
Give her at least one pose where it accidentally happens. Like, oh shit.
Stupid inflatable pants.
Yeah. So anyway, as the writer of a Rey clone character, I'm excited for that. But
I can't wait for the targets between her and Maya. That's probably what I've spent half of my time thinking about when it comes to writing. Is just how I'm going to target Maya.
This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wibbly, go.
Yeah, and Darkness coming along really well. Got a lot of the writing done. Just waiting on some art stuff is the main thing. But she's pretty much almost at a point to be ready for testing table once the art's done. So look forward to it.
Great.
All right. So when we are now moving into our main section. So normally each podcast episode always started off. I guess this is episode 42 if we're going to count it. But anyway.
Oh, look at that. We've got the fucking Piers Anthony
meme number.
Yeah.
All
right.
So
that's fitting because we're doing every character.
The last cast was like at the end of last year. But anyway, we have a lot of characters that have come out between then and now. So December 2019. So it is currently July 12th, 2020 when we're recording this. So we're gonna do a quick little lightning round. Every cast we always used to go over anyone new in testing or in the main game and give our quick thought on it. So we don't want to spend 12 hours going through each of them in detail, but we will do a quick lightning round.
Yeah.
For everybody involved here. So we're gonna go in a quick rotation. We're gonna give our thoughts. Try to be brief.
But
with each
first,
character.
We're going to talk about a character who is in sponsorship. So recently, we've made a big effort to distinguish between characters in sponsorship and characters who are on the testing tables. So a testing tables character is essentially in this nebulous purgatory between being in the main game and not, whereas a character on test has 100% decided that they want to be submitted, evaluated, and proofed. Right now, that is Brock. So Brock is a character from Brawl Stars, Sentimental Rotom, who has previously written Rin from Katawa Shoujo, was the writer and artist on Brock, and I'll go ahead and let Wibbly take the lead on this. So what do you think about Brock as a character, and where do you think he's good? Where do you think he could make some improvements? Anything you want to see?
Yeah, so real quick, our rotation here is going to be Wibbly, then Corky, then nmasp, then me.
Yep.
I'm the host. I had to go last.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I honestly think, first off, that he fills a role that I've been wanting to see for a while. Not that this role doesn't exist, but I feel like I'd wanted to see more representation for it. And that he feels like a very kind of like a bro friend, kind of someone who can be fun to just have the dialogue with and feel more kind of both kind of friendly and amusing when you're hanging out with. He's very confident. His dialogue is very kind of amusing to me, and I love how he's got some of those animated poses and the that one interesting stripping gimmick, because while it's I always like to see some stuff like that added to distinguish it. You don't want to go overboard with it, because if you have too many, then it makes it so hard to have a regular conversation with the character, because you have to keep on reacting to crazy things. But having one that's really cool or interesting, while not required, can really add a lot. And I really liked what they did with the rocket launcher. That was kind of funny. I like the sunglasses pose too. But yeah, no, personality. He's really fun. He's very just, I don't know, he's kind of confident while being a little bit awkward. And he talks about himself a decent bit, I've noticed, too, which is nice. And he asks questions sometimes, and just, I don't know, he feels very solid, kind of well-rounded. But yeah, I feel like those are my main thoughts on it. I think areas where probably, I think the areas that he probably could have used with improvement when I last checked have been mostly addressed. So I honestly think he's pretty much ready for the main game, so I'm excited to see him reach it.
Cool. You know, I have some similar thoughts that I'll get to when it's my turn. But Corky, what do you think about Brock?
So I was one of the sponsors for Brock. I really liked him. Rotom has this talent for taking characters that I would never expect to work in SPNatI and blowing me away with them. Like, I just love how...
Pretty amazing.
He just has this way of like just putting in a ton of heart and love into the character. Like, he really gets down and dirty and tries to understand like what they're about. And he is just really good at capturing their voice. And I think he does that pretty well with Brock. What stood out with me, he's also very good at throwing in animated poses without them like looking jarring or taking the focus away from the game. I mean, he even did that with his silly April Fool's character, Suction Cup Man. Like, I thought he did that really well with like the whole little playing the guitar thing. It was he's really good at kind of adding in that little extra bit that doesn't, you know, he doesn't use it as a crutch. He just uses it as like a nice little cherry on top, which is, I think, what animated poses should be. With Brock specifically, I think he got the voice down really well. The only negative with him is that I think he's a little bit too reactionary. I think a lot of the times he's just kind of reacting to what's happening instead of driving the conversation. And that's one of the things I put in the sponsorship that I want to see more from him, is just like, I want to see more about like what he thinks about things, and just like, I'd like to see more initiative from his character, and so I can learn more about him. And maybe like, you know, he does talk a lot about Brawl Stars, but I've never played Brawl Stars, so I'm not going to get those references. So it would be kind of nice if like he found other ways to kind of bring himself into the inventory so that other characters can kind of figure out who he is, and so the reader can kind of grasp what kind of character he is without actually having played Brawl Stars.
I think that's, I'm pretty much in the same boat, especially like with, you know, Rotom just makes really interesting characters. Like, Rin was a character that when I played Kitawa Shoujo in like the before times of like the early 2010s, I just like Rin was just like the worst character. And then someone's like, I'm going to make Rin for SPNatI. I'm just like, why would you do this? And then it's just like, oh, Rin is better written in this game than she was in the original. So good job.
Dude, Rin is fucking great.
Yeah, Rin's amazing. Like, super good job.
Really caught the voice, yeah.
With Brock specifically,
her when she's like not even paying attention.
Yeah, with Brock specifically, it's like, the way I would describe Brock as like a selling point is like basically, okay, so do you like, you know, a character like Chiaki or Futaba, who's like kind of like a gamer meme lord, or, you know, Nepgear, which we'll talk about, or Neptune, we'll talk about at some point in the future. He's like that, but the male version, but still like in ways that are conventionally attractive. I think like Brock's first model was very not appealing, but the fact that Rotom has made this like really cartoony style his own, it was still like looks like a Kisuke character, is really, really great. I think the animated poses are really funny and engaging. I will agree that the big issue I have with Brock is it feels like he could be engaged, like he could engage a little more. Like, I haven't opened the character editor in front of me. He's at like 1,400 lines, and I'm not saying like everyone needs 2,000. I think that's ridiculous, but it would be nice to see him kind of go through a pass of just targeting people on the roster and, or, you know, on the testing tables, especially for people that are close to sponsorship, to get them rolling. Because I quite like him. I think he's cool. I do think if you're like, the big issue in SPNatI is like, if you are one of the only, like, I don't know, the handful of straight female players, or you're, you know, one of the gay guys that likes SPNatI,
You're part of the gay agenda.
Yeah, I don't really feel like Brock has as much for that, which is like, I get that he's kind of there to be like your buddy and not like there to bang you, but I do think that a little bit of that, especially if the player character is using like the gay tag, for instance, could be a really good service. So like Rin has a lot of good lines if you are like a male character, so I think that like Rotom can certainly write those. I just think he needs to adapt them to Brock.
God, can you imagine if like we put someone from 2017 SPNatI in like a time warp and listen to this podcast and be like, yeah, 1,400 lines, you know, it's a little slim. It's you know, I'm not impressed.
The arms rate, like a weapon to surpass Moon Gear, and then just like everyone's just like, yeah, okay, that's nice. we're like on season 3 of some like shonen anime where just like the power levels just keep getting more and more ridiculous. Like everything just hyper scales.
Absolutely. Now we're up to like Planet Busters.
Right. So
Dude,
that's
I like to think of your SPNatI line count as like your Dragon Ball Z power level, because that puts you right in like the Nappa and Vegeta level.
That means that you're like the end game boss lurking in the shadows no one realized yet.
Maya is the only one so far who could put up a fight against Vegeta.
SPNanon's the protagonist though.
Because Vegeta's power level there was like 18,000, so that's my goal, is to make her stronger than Vegeta.
God.
It's tough, because if you get to like 6,000, you can like kind of fight Nappa a little. Most characters are like 1,400, which means they're like Krillin.
True.
And if you're below 1,000, you're just a complete shitter. You can't.
Which writing milestone was the hardest for you to hit with Maya? Like number wise?
I mean, I've just been working on her steadily this whole time.
There's never been like that, man. I don't know, like 14,000 was easy, but 15, oof.
I think like I'll speak for myself on this, but I think like when you're writing really high line count characters, it's I think the first 2,000 or so are probably the hardest, just because it's mostly generics and like the stuff you have to target. But then everything after that's just like really organic and you don't even notice it. It's like running a marathon. Like mile 1 sucks, mile 2's also terrible. Yeah. But by mile 5, it's just like, I'm just in it.
Yeah, when I break another 1,000, I look at it and I'm like, well, you know,
how did I get there?
Well, the next 1,000 doesn't sound that intimidating, because I've done that a lot.
I think like for me it was like Natsuki like being at like 4,000 lines. I was just like, when the fuck did that happen? Like that was just like that was purely by accident. And then like I look and it's like, oh, she targets Amy 200 times. I'm just like, well, that's why.
So not to fillet myself or anything, but real quick, I should say. So, when I was making Jura, I didn't want to put her on the table until like she had like full interactions with Maya.
Yeah.
Like the amount of interactions you see between Jura and Maya now is pretty much what they've always had. So I worked on Jura and Maya for like a solid month without updating either of them. So Maya jumped from like 4,000 to 6,000.
That's sort of what's happening with Marinette.
So that was the hardest gap, because I just didn't have any update, and everyone was like, ooh, when Maya's 4,000 lines, when is she gonna break 5,000? At no point did she ever have 5,000. She jumped straight to 6,000 one day, in one update.
In one day.
That was the hardest part. No, I did not write 1,000 lines in a day.
I don't think that. I think that's, if you can write 1,000 lines in one day, I just want to see how you did it. Like, I don't even like care what character it is. I just want to see like did you just sit down, like chug some Adderall, and just
everyone else? I try to like make it like I don't care about how many lines I write in a day. Okay, I want the lines to be good. I don't want there to be a lot of lines. I want to hold myself to a high standard in terms of what the lines are. So, like, I think the most I ever wrote was like 200 lines for Revy in a day.
How do you feel about Brock? Yeah, I think like
okay, yeah, we need to get back on topic.
Yeah, I think I will say that I agree with you. It's like some days it's like 200 lines easy. Other days it's like such a struggle to write 10 because it's like some bullshit case like removing minor items for males when the character is in like their middle stage, and it's just like kill me.
The worst part is that I've been revising generic lines.
Right.
So the number doesn't go up. The number is my biggest source of reinforcement. So I spend all day, I write like what's really 50 lines, and then the number goes up by 5.
Well, so Brock, what are your closing thoughts?
Brock.
The first gym leader of Pokemon, also.
Yeah, honestly, just get yourself a Butterfree. You're all good. But I love Rin. I think Rin's really great. You know, she's got her shower thoughts thing going, and she's like cute, even still, and and she's really charming. Brock, I believe in Rotom, but I'm not quite feeling him yet. I don't really. When I play him, I'm like, who is this for? You know, who's the target audience here? I think you're kind of right in that he's just like trying to be your buddy. We already kind of have some male characters that fall in line with that. You know, and it's like, I'm not sure, like, how much do like straight male players really want a guy to just be their buddy? Like, I don't want some other dude there. I just want 4 girls. I don't care if he's friendly. I'll get a beer with him. I don't want to jack off with him. That's like the sexual edge. I feel like it's not quite there. I don't know, like if he's more for like, you know, gay men or straight women, or if he's just like trying to be pretty asexual. But why would you do that in a porn game? So that's kind of weird. So I feel like he hasn't really coalesced into like, oh yeah, I can really narrow down who Brock is supposed to be. Also, the fact that he has a rocket launcher means that the only reaction I can give my characters is like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Why do you have a rocket launcher? This isn't like even people freak out about Revy's guns, but they're like in a holster and it's like a gun. Like you have a gun for self-defense. Nobody has a fucking rocket launcher in a close quarters area for self-defense.
In my America, we would all have rocket launchers.
If you're carrying a rocket launcher around in a bar, you are a suicide bomber.
Well, with that attitude, yeah, but
that's the first thing. Reason... Revy calls him like a terrorist.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, have you not seen those lines? She calls him like Osama bin bullshit.
Oh my god.
I played with the 2 of them when I tested them, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
For some reason, a rocket launcher seems less threatening to a gun.
I kind of agree with that. With the gun, it's just like, yeah, who knows how this is going to go. With rocket launcher, you're like, yeah, all right.
No, she's like, nobody better fucking bitch about my guns with this fucking guy and his rocket launcher. But yeah,
I think it hits that ridiculous level where it stops being like, you stop taking it super seriously.
Yeah. So like he's
especially because his rocket launcher doesn't look like a rocket launcher. It looks like a giant, it's such a like goofy cartoony one.
He's kind of funny, but again, I'm not quite sure what he's there to do yet. And I agree with Corky that he talks about Brawl Stars a lot, especially in like the targeting I've done back and forth with him. Like he name drops people a lot, but I'm just like, I haven't played Brawl Stars. I don't get anything out of that. You know, like I feel like he kind of puts it out there as like, oh, this character that I know is vaguely relevant to the situation, but that still doesn't give me a whole lot to kind of engage with. So I think he needs a little bit more. I don't know if he quite has that X factor just yet.
All right.
Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't know if anyone else has any final comments.
Any closing remarks?
I like the idea, the mention of the tag thing, because I think that's something more people should at least consider, because it allows your character to be more flexible to different audiences. Depending, as long as you don't want to make your character, you don't have to change your character and make them like out of character or like cater. But like, if it's relatively in character, you can kind of tailor it to different audiences and relevancy with tags.
All right, ready to move on? We go into the lightning round now.
All right. So remember, we're gonna go in order. We have the order in front of us. You have 1 minute, and then you'll time out. I'm not going to be super strict with this, but let's we have a lot to get through. Let's try to keep
things moving because we have a lot of characters to get through.
We do have a shitload of characters. All right, let's do it. Let's do it in one take.
All right, first up. Okay, are we doing releases first?
We'll do the order. Yeah, we'll do the order of release. So we'll go Amy through PA-15.
All right, so main roster releases. First off, we have Amy, no last name, just Amy from Doki Doki Literature Club, but also kind of an original character because she was just mentioned as in a poem. She's not a real character. Anyway, this was made by nmasp's loving wife, Napsu. So go ahead, start off, Wibbly. What do you think of Amy?
Amy is a very surprising character for me because I don't know enough about, I guess, DDLC lore to have known that that was even a thing. So when Amy showed up, I was like, who is this? And, honestly, she's been really great. I was surprised with both the speed and quality at which Napsu created this being out of nowhere. And I don't know, fun, quirky. She's kind of got that silly, musicalness, and I just really like her. I don't really have any major criticisms for her specifically.
All right,
Corky. Napsu did a great job.
So things I like about Amy. I like the sort of ADHD style personality that she has, like the easily distracted. It makes targets and interactions really funny, and it makes it really charming. And the benefit for that, like that kind of personality for Napsu as a writer, is that she can bring up whatever she wants, and it fits because that's just what the personality of the character is. So I thought that was pretty smart. She's got nice creative posing. I thought it was super cool how like she just kind of like bends over when she's looking at you, and like that's such a like subtle thing, but it's really hard to do that in Kisuke. So that's something I really respected and appreciated.
On that. Yeah.
Some stupid thing that I don't like that's probably just my own preference is the music thing she does, and the only reason I don't like it is because I'm incapable of reading the song without actually hearing the song. So like I try to like imagine how she's singing it, and I just can't do it. My imagination is just so limited with that. So that little particular thing, it just doesn't work for me. But I'm sure others love it, and I still think it's creative. So it's not really a flaw. It's just something that
Right. All right. MASP.
To riff on that topic, I've got some deep lore. At one point, Napsu was working with Viz to add voice lines to all the singing components, and then she's just like, "Yeah, but I don't want people jerking off to my voice, so I'm not going to do that."
Dude, but we don't even know what Napsu sounds like. She still hasn't showed up to a podcast.
Yeah, that's weird. But so Amy is basically like, I don't know. It's like I'm gonna steal a Joeism and be like, this hole's for me. It's just like, how can we just like blend everything that's just like nmasp bait into this cocktail and just drench myself in it? So I don't know. It's just like normally I think there's like room for subjectivity in like a game like this, but like from conception through like characterization, this is just like the best character in the game for me, and I don't think it's really possible to ever beat this. Just because like
it's Lara Shell.
Oh, I mean, I like Lara Shell a lot, but Amy is a league of her own. It's also just like, it's such a fantastic shitpost too, because it's just like, I can't understand the mindset of just like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, but I'm gonna make this character this way because I want to. And then it's just like, to do that as like a consistent character development premise from like Kizuna through Amy, and just like not piss anyone off, or well, I'm sure someone's upset about it, but like, not piss off anyone enough that they're willing to like stand their ground against it. But Amy's good, TLDR, I like her. The criticism is I think like she gets a little too space cadet-y sometimes, and it's a little hard to follow what she's saying in a bad way. But nothing is perfect except for my wife, obviously. So SPNanon, I pass to you.
All right, so real quick, because we've already gone over our minute limit a little bit.
It's a minute each, though.
She's like a what a troll! What a troll project! Amy pretty much exists just to troll Yuri fans after like 2 years of radio silence on getting a fourth Doki, and now we can all just be like, oh, we got a fourth Doki, all good. But yeah, I mean, it's weird how she's like. Can you like imagine explaining this fucking character? She's a troll in concept. She's like half original, half Doki, and yet like Napsu has put like genuine effort into making her like good and interesting.
That's the best part, right?
Even though her entire deal is like apparently is like being really annoying. She's like a joke about like the manic pixie dream girl, except she's like really annoying. But she is like genuinely fun to like to play with and target. Like she's got like good dirty talk and everything, and I like her the way she talks to other characters about how either her like weird interests like spiders, or she actually kind of like shocks Maya a little bit, talking about how like her sexual history. There's a line where she like
wait, really?
She like doesn't remember like what her first time having sex was. Like Maya's like, how do you not remember that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, even though she's like slightly younger than Maya, the way like it just kind of like shocks Maya even more. She's not used to that kind of like promiscuity, I want to say, especially because she's like talking about doing it with a man.
Yeah, I think like I could probably spend like a good longer episode on like passion projects in SPNatI, and I'd love to talk more about Amy there, but alas, we have a lightning round.
But she's just genuinely good, which is like what post.
What a shit post.
Why did you marry such a wild card?
But like, just the staggering amount of effort that went into this. Like, it's like
and
fucking,
she wants to keep updating her.
Right.
She won't
it's
update
not just like,
Starfire, but she'll update her fucking troll post Doki OC.
Yeah.
What the fuck is your wife doing?
Anyway, lots of things in life, but anyway, Yuelia is the next character by Yater.
Yuelia from Fantasy Life, also known as Flutter. She's basically a butterfly. She starts off as a butterfly, but anyway, Wibbly, go.
Yeah, I like the kind of... The butterfly thing is pretty interesting at first. I imagine it potentially the reactions to that can get kind of samey after a bit, but it's at least a cool new kind of gimmick thing I haven't seen. And but she's a lot of fun. She's interesting. I think she's kind of has this kind of tendency, or at least the last time I've been through with her, she has this kind of almost lack of interest in the game a bit, which I've never been 100% sure on, but she does have some fun, generally kind of innocent interactions with other characters that can be pretty interesting. She can sometimes feel a little out of place, but it's not necessarily in a bad way. But yeah.
Cool.
All right, Yuelia. So
lightning round.
Yuelia, I think, is like comically innocent. Like, she's so innocent that it gets really funny, and I always enjoy that when I play with her. Her art improved a hell of a lot while she was in testing, and I think she excels the most when she's interacting with other characters.
Yeah, she used to have banana hair.
I don't think this is going to be a really popular opinion, but I don't really love the butterfly thing. It just, it kind of forces everyone to react to it, and there's only so many ways you can react to it. So it's not my favorite part of her. I would never tell Yater to change it because it's just something I personally, don't love. But, I got to give some kind of criticism here. But Yuelia, like her.
I like Yuelia. I think, honestly, I do like Yuelia less than some of the other people on the cast. I think she's good. I just think that she doesn't really explore the game as much as she's like you said, she's comically innocent, but I feel like there's more ground to be shaken there, but that could just be my preference. I think she's cute. I think she's a good character. The butterfly thing is not what I want, but I think there's a lot of good fertile ground with Yuelia, and I would love to see a big update to her someday.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. She's comically innocent, and I think the kind of missed opportunity there is that she really doesn't get any less innocent.
Yeah.
Even as everyone is tripping and masturbating around her.
I think that's the point, though, and for what it's worth, at least it's consistent.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. I mean, at least we're getting this from someone who isn't a schoolgirl. So
yeah, that
is
is nice.
Visual variety.
I would agree with that. That is a good point.
They actually targets her a lot. We've gone back and forth a lot, and I was enjoying going back and forth with her with all of her weird properties about her source and her turning into a butterfly and stuff. I think one of the sad things is that she was kind of coming into her own, and Yater was doing a better job writing her. And so far this entire year, she just hasn't gotten any updates. I think he's been lost in doing role play stuff on other servers. So she's kind of just starting to languish already, which is a real shame because I think she was getting better.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. So for our speaking of better, how about the person who's better at art than all of us in this next
By the way, real quick.
Yeah,
I also agree with the butterfly thing. It almost seems like she should just have a pose where she turns into it every so often. And then that would make it a lot less intrusive. Anyway, yeah. So now Rainbow Dash by the person who just cheats because it's Horsecat and who can actually draw.
I'll preface this and say, I was just Horsecat, can you, make me a marionette butt pose? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so, I'm gonna
have to ask him to do that.
Horsecat's
he made one for me, too, or randomly, and yeah.
Yeah, so great job, Horsecat. You're an asset to our community. I hope your Patreon flourishes and you can continue to draw.
Did you have to pay him money for that?
I offered to, but he respectfully just let me have it, and that was nice. So basically, to just be a mod and abuse your power. Wibbly, what do you think about Rainbow Dash?
Another pony.
I I am not someone who's ever like been big on the brony stuff, but like all of these characters like were really good and actually got me. I really like them. They came across really well, and I think the reason is he just focused on making them really good, kind of fun characters with a lot of dynamic personalities. Each of one of them is so different from each other, and it's not like it's not a focus necessarily on the show, but on them, and I like it. I think the Horse Cat's done an amazing job with all of them.
Dude, bro.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right, Corky.
Rainbow Dash's art is unfairly good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even fair. It's amazing. I think Rainbow Dash is basically she may as well have been designed to fit my tastes. So.
Oh, I see. So this is your
she's
Amy.
like Emmy with legs.
Yeah.
And wings.
Sometimes.
The only thing I don't like about Rainbow Dash, I think she overuses the middle finger thing. I don't know if it fits her character, but I haven't watched the shows. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she gives people the middle finger all the time. But
I feel like they don't constantly show middle fingers in My Little Pony.
Getting her in Emmy's new epilogue, Dead Man's Tale, was an absolute pleasure. I loved working with Horse Cat on that.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
The skydiving thing was always what she was going to do, but I was kind of like, gosh, like, I feel like she needs to have an outfit for this. And I was like, kind of like, I almost felt bad for asking, but just like your experience, like Horse Cat was just so enthusiastic, like, oh yeah, let's totally do it. And then he just whipped up an incredible skydiving outfit for Rainbow Dash. And I was like, I could not, like, I'm so nitpicky with Kisake stuff. I couldn't nitpick it. That's how good it was. I was like, I don't even have any, this is perfect.
All right. So I like Rainbow Dash. She's not my favorite of like the MLP girls, and in some ways, like what I like about them is that they don't kind of fall into like what I call like Doki syndrome in some ways, where it's like they have to target the shit out of each other. Like they do, which is good, but like they can stand on their own. I think that's a really strong merit. The only thing is like sporty athletic girl. That's nice. Like I like Rainbow Dash. Just speaking personally, she's not my favorite, but it's mostly because like. I'm not into that whole brash kind of 40s stuff, but that's okay. Like, I think she's great. Like, I don't have any negative feedback for her, which is good, but I don't necessarily have anything, like, incredibly positive to say, other than, like, Horse Cat's an amazing person, she's a good character, and the epilogue is just, like, fucking absurd. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, God. Ridiculous.
I'm personally a fan of, like a, slow romantic monogamous kissing.
But, just like, crush all these ponies in different ways. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. Now,
call it the breeding stable.
Oh no.
I almost spit on my drink.
I don't know what it's actually called.
I think it's The Ride Never Ends is the name of the epilogue.
That was like 10 times worse.
I guess it's not all breeding because you stick it up Rarity's asshole, but
she got butt pregnant.
Okay, so anyway, real quick. Rainbow Dash. So as you might imagine from Maya, I definitely appreciate her in terms of like aesthetics, like, body type, the whole like modest bust line, nice ass, especially with her custom drawn ass poses, kind of like sporty and athletic. I'm into that. The personality, I'm not so much into like the brash, horny, overconfident stuff. It's definitely got a place. I think Rainbow Dash does it well. Just not my thing personally. I like how Maya's kind of like a stoic version of that body type instead. That archetype. But Rainbow Dash, again, I agree with the point about how like the ponies can all kind of like stand out on their own. And I like how, like, even though they're ponies, like, they don't make it weird, Like, for the most part, they're, like, human versions of the ponies. And you can kind of remove yourself from it. Like, I can't post them on 4chan because there's a no ponies rule. But they are great, legit, like, great characters, all of them. You could put any of them on a table, and they'll look great, and they'll interact great. I think the wings thing is a little bit intrusive towards the end, but overall she's a great addition to any table. Gotta love the spats. All right. First we have another male character, Chihiro, Honey Nut Chihiro.
Chihiro, yeah. Dang it, wrong Paul, I believe.
He's called Cheerio because you could fit his dick in a Cheerio.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's not wrong. Anyway.
Chihiro Fujisaki, who dresses up like a girl and then becomes a computer and then becomes a boy.
Yeah.
Where'd we go? Oh, he's from Danganronpa, by the way.
Yeah, no, I actually have a history with this character.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really good at knowing which character is going to be like a trap ahead of time. And this was the first character I fell for and then got very confused.
Wow.
In the first DR game. But yeah, no, so when I saw Chihiro hopping on, I was like, my boy. And it's more of like a friendship thing now. But I love Chihiro's character. He's great.
All right, Corky.
Chihiro. I love the premise, honestly. Like a lot of these characters I had never heard of before they went in SPNatI, but that's what's great about the game is you get to learn about all these cool characters. And I don't know if there's a more interesting like trap character that you could do because like the whole alter ego thing just has so much potential. I think Chihiro kind of stands out or sticks out with the lack of interactions that he has at points. Like when I tested him, like he kind of felt like he was off in his own little area because the other three characters had so many targets to each other, and he just. But I think with Alter Ego, there's so much potential. Like I would really love to see him and Alter Ego just kind of like banter back and forth about other characters, just kind of like gossiping about him in front of people. I think that'd be really fun.
Mm.
I think I think Chihiro's been was on testing for a very long time. I think it's great that he finally made it into the game. I think he's something that's not really been done before, obviously, and I think he adds a lot of value to, people who are interested in this type of character. He doesn't really do much for me personally, but I kind of think the only real criticism I have is like he's just a little too nascent. He needs more dialogue to other characters, but I do think that what's there is good. So that's all I really got to say. Spnanon.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
The King Harkinian thing.
I don't even get it.
It's fucking the King of Hyrule.
Well, how is this relevant? Did you say
my
boy at some point?
Boy.
My boy. This piece is what all true warriors strive for. Anyway. So yeah, I don't play with male characters a whole lot, but it's I guess I could pick him because his dick's so small I can just pretend it's a clip. But he's definitely got a place. It's so weird. I think Viz just made him out of spite because the original character idea guide said that it was impossible to make him. So Viz just coded it so he could. Also because he played Danganronpa and discovered that he was bisexual. Because
is this is this the fucking is basically the way we get people to make stuff is just telling people they can't? Is that our trope in SPNatI? It's just yeah, you can't make an OC that gets in the top 15. Okay, watch this. Oh, you can't make a trap character. Okay, watch this.
Now Amy's only half an OC.
Sure, but
it's kind of like Barack Obama. He was only half black.
Oh, jeez.
And he became president.
That's a take.
It's a start.
Okay. It's a start. Oh, God. So Chihiro a good, just not, unfortunately you got a bunch of straight dudes or mostly straight dudes on this cast. So you're not going to get more interesting feedback, unfortunately. But I think Chihiro is one of those characters that we could drag into another episode to discuss more in depth, which would be nice.
I feel bad. I don't even feel qualified to talk about Chihiro because I still need to target. I still need to target his alter ego and gender reveal stuff. But he does it very well. I feel like we don't even need another character that does that sort of thing.
I
guess we have Mulan as the reverse, but no one's fooled by Mulan.
I think that's what's fun about it, though.
That was the compromise you had to make because we didn't have the code then, so you just made nobody
even if I did, I think it's funnier if everyone's just this is transparent as fuck.
Yeah. So not for me, but Chihiro definitely does his job in terms of trap character, and he's
same.
Yeah, he could definitely target more and be targeted more, but he does a good job.
Great.
All right, so break out that piano.
Is Cynthia from Pokemon.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl champion.
Yeah. So
Wibbly.
Cynthia was a really She was coming out at the same time as when I was working on Megaman. They're kind of side by side a bit. The early days of Cynthia were a little rough at times, just because there were a few hiccups, and it was kind of hard to target her a bit sometimes. I think she got a little too much into monologuing about Pokemon lore, like mythology or something like that, to like almost to an excessive extent. I don't know if that makes sense. If not, I might just be being stupid. But I know that she was getting kind of remastered, so to speak, and I was playing with her a bit afterwards, and she's honestly come a decent way. Definitely a large improvement. I was wondering if like any of you guys like who might know more about like the challenges during, because I think when she was originally being made, it was actually, I don't want to focus too much on originally. We're talking about how she is now.
Lightning round.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Lightning round.
Move on.
All right. Lightning round. Corky.
Cynthia has got a crap ton of lines, and that should definitely be applauded, because like it's not easy to just write 3,700 lines for any character.
Yeah.
So Cynthia herself, she was never my favorite Pokemon character. You know, she's not really one that I was ever endeared to. So I didn't go into Cynthia being like, gosh, I can't wait to play her. She didn't really say a whole lot that really stood out to me. I don't think her dialogue is extremely memorable, but you know, she definitely kind of has like, she's like a good solid character. She's not going to be like, oh man, can't believe Cynthia's in this game.
Am I the only one here who's like Pokemon, or I guess you?
Yeah, I think you're the only one. So just
how is it possible that four anime?
No, I like Pokemon.
Okay.
I'm just too old for it. I think like
I had one more thing to say.
Yeah, go for it.
One thing that did stand out that I really liked, she has like a specially made like forfeit pose where she like tilts her head up a little bit, and that kind of sounds like silly and minor, but if you've worked with Kisuke, you know how hard it is to move the head in any direction, so I appreciated that.
Except left and right.
Yeah, left and right are only.
And even that might break some shit.
Yeah. That was really well done, and I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, for me, I'm not big on Pokemon. I will say Alpha Man is just like a ridiculously prolific writer. Like it just out of nowhere. Like he's just like, yeah, I just wrote like 200 lines to this one character from Jessie or Cynthia, and it's just done. It just happens. And it's amazing. But Cynthia herself is just like there's not a lot here for me, to be honest. It's just like I'm not into Pokemon. The characters I have that I update speak for themselves, and you're
the gamer girl.
She's fine. She's just not for me. So I don't really feel like I have anything I can say that's like impactful here.
See, so I mean, I grew up with like the Gen 4 Pokemon games where Cynthia was the champion. So I mean, Cynthia's real popular. She gets a ton of fan art. I kind of agree that her dialogue isn't terribly memorable, but you know, that's not entirely her fault or the writer's fault. I mean, like Pokemon is about the Pokemon. All the human characters tend to be a little flat. I mean, it's not like she gets a lot of screen time in the first place, and in general, she just kind of like is a mouthpiece for the player. She calls the villain an asshole.
Yeah.
So
there's not a whole lot to do there.
She call him an asshole, like with those words?
Not literally, but okay. She's she's into like, you know, mythology and stuff, which gives her a lot to talk about. I mean, I've had fun targeting her, but yeah, it definitely gives her like a kind of like, she's sort of like stoic and kind of in the clouds and not too engaged. So it's, you know, it's tough for her to be engaging sometimes. I think he needs to like branch out a little bit and give her sort of like, you know, give some stuff that's not quite canon, but like, you know, I'm searching for a man who really loves archaeology or something like that.
I want him to bury his bone.
Keep in my catacomb.
Yeah.
Something like that to give her a little more spice.
I
will say, so yeah, Alpha writes a lot and he writes quickly. He's pretty much gone on record saying he wants to take the line count record from me, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to make it easy for you.
Yeah. I would love to take that record, but there's no way in hell I'm going to do it.
It's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And I like it that way.
So the next character we have on our list is...
Going from...
From
a loner woman to another loner woman, I guess.
Yeah. But for very different reasons. We have Tomoko by Stuart. Tomoko is a
from
very...
Wanamote.
Oh man, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's
a much longer name, but
I'm the anti-weeb because I'm like it's not my fault that I'm not popular. Is like where mine goes with that. So I will see you all at the heretic stake burning. We'll be doing after this.
Tomoko is basically she's a NEET.
Yeah.
She's a nerd. She shit posts all day. She plays H games. She's one of us.
Yeah.
So Wibbly, go ahead.
Wibbly, lead the way.
Tomoko, honestly, is probably up there with one of my favorite, like, kind of recent additions, just because this might sound weird, but, like, my favorite thing about a character is if they make me laugh. That's what I love the most, and Tomoko consistently makes me laugh and makes me spit take, and it's great. It's the interactions are, I feel like, really refreshing because they're so weird and so uncomfortable sometimes that it's just very new, kind of almost. That's how I felt like targeting her. I was able to get a lot out targets out because of that. Just there's such awkward, interesting conversations subjects, and just occasionally Stuart will throw out a line that's out of nowhere that just like absolutely cracks me up. It was a lot of fun working with her. You probably notice a trend with this. I'm generally great about talking about things, but sometimes I struggle pulling up criticism unless there's something really specific off the top of my head. But so I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, Corky.
Tomoko's a rare combination of having incredible art that stands out and incredible writing that stands out as well. Like, I just love, like, the poses she does. Like, the new model update she got is just fantastic. Her inner monologues, like, as Wibbly put it, are just fucking hilarious. And I just, like, it was just such a joy to just read through them and kind of see what she had to say about other characters. I tried to come up with, like, a positive and negative for every character. I tried so damn hard to find a negative for Tomoko, and I couldn't do it. So
I got some.
Covered.
I'll start with the negative just because it's, balance in all things is important. It's not really. That's a lie. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Tomoko is like almost too well written, if that makes sense. Like, it's just like she's so fucking weird and awkward and uncomfortable. Like you can kind of get there with Amy, right? But Amy is still like in this realm of like, oh well, Amy is like conventionally attractive, and it's like
Amy
it's
has
not
had sex.
Yeah, whereas like with Tomoko, it's just like this is like how that person actually is in real life, right? Like this is like so it's amazing. I think Tomoko is probably like the best written character in the game, but unfortunately that like sets the bar of accessibility too high for me. It's like if someone wrote a character entirely in another language, they could be like the best. Like if Horse Killer showed up and like this is a character from like German Fire Emblem, and like it was just this beautiful, amazing character that I had no ability to access. That's like what Tomoko is to me. But the art, the characterization are all just amazing. I just have a really hard time targeting Tomoko because like it's like touching like a microwave. It just is just not great for me.
Gives you cancer.
Touching a microwave?
I wouldn't go that far.
I was about to say, what is that analogy?
Sorry, I can in the back matter for this episode. I'll talk. Remind me to talk about microwaves. I have a very weird story, but I digress. So that's what I feel about Tomoko.
nmasp, did you microwave your cat as a child?
Again? Why does this rumor persist? Anyway, let's talk at the end of the podcast.
Okay. Tomoko. I gotta echo everybody else here. She is captured very well in what she's trying to do, and what I really like is that she's not, she's a completely socially awkward, cringy nerd, and she owns that. But she also like she's not like a complete shrinking violet. Like she kind of stands up for herself a little bit, and then when someone pushes back, she like shrinks back even more.
Yeah,
kind of that push and pull. So I loved writing interactions with her and Revy, because they actually start to bond because Tomoko likes guns. It's just and like Revy starts to get like kind of a little protective of her.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tomoko likes what? Like what? Tomoko like likes guns and what?
Yeah.
What?
She has like a big gun thing, but she can't get her hands on any because of Japan's gun laws.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Revy was like, yeah, when I was in Japan, I had to smuggle mine in.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's just stuff like that. So the fact that she brings such a unique perspective there, lets people interact with her in a very interesting way, and she actually has something to say for herself too. And I think she fits in very nicely. She's like the socially awkward type, but it's not the shy, shrinking Violet type. So I really like that. And she talks about gross shit, which some people are into that.
I want to know, is it weird? Because I hear people say this a lot. Is it weird that I find don't think Tomoko's like model is conventionally unattractive?
Well, she got some sleep.
She's cute. She's cute, but not like in a way that appeals. Especially like once like the clothes come off, she just is a little bit like, I'm good.
She got a big old frog eye.
Okay, so
I mean, to be fair, I love pugs, so I'm kind of in that.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a weird comparison, but yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of making sense,
so Tomoko, and then we have another fucking Fire Emblem character.
Shamir from Fire Emblem by Floor. Floor has made also.
Do we know which Fire Emblem? Three Houses.
I don't.
The new one.
Floor's made a couple.
I think.
Floor's made a couple other Fire Emblem characters. He made Tharia, and he also made.
I think it's Tharja.
Tharja, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Shamir, who's like a sniper, I think.
Yeah, she's like an archer sniper.
I didn't even know they had guns.
I think it's like sniper in the same way that like in Final Fantasy Tactics you can get snipers, but they're really just like people with really accurate longbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's
she's like a stoic type. But anyway, let's go, Wibbly.
Yeah, Wibbly, go ahead.
For this one, actually, can I request if Corky goes first? I apologize.
Sure.
I need to gather my thoughts a little more.
That's fine.
For your call-out post.
Oh, jeez.
I think Shamir focuses way too much on explaining why she's there. Basically all of her writing is dedicated to that, and I didn't think it was that interesting. So it just kind of falls flat. And I never really liked the whole fold into the game kind of thing. I think it's always way more interesting if you just find a reason for them to be in the game and then just go with that. And again, since so much of her dialogue is based off of that, I just think a lot of it doesn't work. She's got a lot of lines that are like single words, and I'm not sure if she does that in her source. Maybe that's like how she speaks, but to me it just kind of looked as like, okay, well, that's not really adding anything. She did have a really long, she had extensive targets with Cynthia when I played with both of them. And so it was cool to see two characters. I think it's because Floor worked on Cynthia as well.
Well, he hasn't wrote her recently.
Right. So I don't know if these targets are old. I don't know if Alpha did them. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they had a crap ton of targets. It was cool to see. Although I've never played Fire Emblem and I'm not really that interested in it. So Shamir was talking about a lot of things that I'm like, my eyes are glazing over. And the funny thing is, Shamir actually said I know you don't care about this, Cynthia, so it's okay. I could stop talking about this. And Cynthia was like, oh, good. I wasn't listening at all. And I just laughed out loud.
Oh, my God.
I was like, that was pretty fucking good. And I love
that's a good joke.
Stuff.
I'm surprised there aren't more interactions like that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That was my favorite.
Why are you
it's just like, oh, cool. I don't give a fuck.
It's like, great. Get your clothes off.
Has anyone ever told you how fucking boring you are?
It's just like, shh, stop talking and undress. Take me now. Then stop talking about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, no, I'd say I feel like she's, as someone who knows the barest of minimum about Fire Emblem, I feel
Are there 4 anime nerds here? None of us have played Fire Emblem?
No.
I played it, but I played it for 20 minutes on a GBA. And because it was a friend's copy, and that was about it. I think that definitely overall I think she works a bit better if for people who know her, might be excited to see her and whatnot. But and I guess there are some interesting poses, but I think a few of them might potentially need a little bit of work. But yeah.
All right, nmasp, up to bat. That's you, asshole.
I think, yeah, I know. I'm just trying to compose myself. I think all the things that have been said about Shamir are all the things that really need to be said. I just don't really know a lot about this character, and I've tried to like target her. I've tried to like read her dialogue. I've tried to play her in games, and just like I think this one, ironically for a sniper, is just kind of a miss for me. I don't really know how to change that either.
All right, so I've never played Fire Emblem. I mean, I like RPGs, but
yeah,
their characters can permanently die, and I would not accept that. I would just reset every time.
Yeah,
I'm not okay with that.
I struggle with that stuff too.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm too emotional.
It would piss me off.
Get good. Just get good, and you don't have to worry about these things.
Well, I just reset until I won.
Oh, there you go.
With everybody. So
seems good.
So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good stoic girl, and you know, she warms up a little bit towards the end. But I agree that, you know, I think Floor kind of overthought the whole like why is she here thing. Like, she's just here to jack
off, and like
it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to create this like convoluted scenario where she's like on a mission. Like, just know where she is. Like, don't think about it too hard.
She's a grown ass woman. Just
I mean, most casual players aren't questioning why they're there.
Yeah, just like have her show up. She's like, I'm here to get some dick. Call it a day.
I mean, but the thing is with stoic characters, I mean, I'm lucky with Maya in that she fits into this game very well because she doesn't know what a penis is and she wants to figure that out. She also wants to know if Earth girls still like to tongue each other, like they do back on Jer. But Shamir, you know, she kind of doesn't have that. She's just an Earth woman. So I think she needs kind of her own little X factor. I
would agree with that. The
really sell me on the stoicism.
The poses are really quite good. So.
Yeah, and like I think with like her facial posing too, she needs to like open her mouth a little bit more. She has her mouth closed a lot, and combined with the stoicism, that makes her seem really inexpressive.
Sure.
All right. Now on to the big motherfucker of the list, the one that everybody loves already.
Yes!
Been showered with praise this entire time.
We're not worthy.
The girl who never said a goddamn word to earn all this praise.
Komi-san.
Komi-san can't communicate. A girl that is mute, and she doesn't say a goddamn thing, but there's narration.
She communicates using narration and like signposts, basically.
And she holds up a piece of paper with kana on it about what she's saying, so she can talk to people.
Yeah, it's great.
Go ahead, Wibbly.
So
this is from the Lonely Phone Box, by the way, who's done a lot of help with me artistically.
When I first heard someone saying that Komi was being made, I was like, "What the heck how is that going to work?" And I thought it was just like almost a joke or something. But man, like, Komi, for not speaking a word, has so many interactions that are interesting. She's so inquisitive and curious, and it fits her character so well. So she like engages people in like really interesting questions to get to know them, and it's great. And then the poses are adorable. And then when she gets to a forfeit, I had a double take because that went in a direction I did not expect.
She gets sexual. She gets hot.
Yeah. No.
It's all
yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but no, it is a treat. She's really well put together, utilizing a mechanic that I think they can proudly say the first person to ever do something like that in this game. Yeah.
Corky, you're up.
Phonebox took a huge fucking risk with Komi-san and couldn't pull it off any better. And it's just nuts to me that he else never released her. I think it's just insane. And what I love that he took something that would be a disadvantage for any other character and forced it to be his own advantage. I mean, he just took narration and just went crazy with it. And I love that.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
She's got some of my favorite posing in the game. I still don't know how he made her look like she was shaking. Like I can't figure it out.
I think it's a blur
want him
tool.
to teach me because it's awesome. But not just the blur tool, like all the little squiggly lines around her. Like I don't know if he sat down and put them all in there, whatever. But it's great. I just love the narration thing because it just kind of frees her up to say whatever she wants without it seeming like, oh, why is she saying that? She's not really saying it; she's thinking it. So you can do whatever you want. It's
right.
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, all I gotta say is like Phone Box or Gentleman and a Scholar. Like honestly, A+ job. No real reservations here. I think the work speaks for itself. Everyone should go play Komi-san. If you're a new creator or you haven't played SPNatI in a while, Komi-san is like, while I say that Amy is the best character in the game, that's like a personal opinion. Komi-san, I think, is the actual like OG gangster heavyweight 800-pound gorilla in the room to beat. Like Maya is up there for her line count and her interactivity. Komi-san as like a conception of an idea and an execution thereof is just, you can't, it's aspire to be as good as Komi-san is all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call Komi-san like an example to be emulated, because at the end of the day, she is functioning on a gimmick.
That's true.
But that gimmick is something that's, that extends so far over like her character specifically and works so well and is so flexible, the way she's thinking and the way it's narrating. And so the fact that, I mean, despite her being mute and socially awkward, she can actually like share so much more of what she's feeling compared to most other characters that are more expressive and talk. It's, going into like her actual like fantasy stuff, like nobody would ever say out loud, but she's totally thinking it. Stuff like having the player like come on her tits, and then like her boyfriend crush like shoves yogurt up her ass or something. I don't know. It gets weird.
It's good. It's good though. It's all
being
good.
Like sandwiched between like the player and her boyfriend, and then like her girlfriend. They have like a threesome thing going on. It's weird.
It's great.
But she stands as like one of the really like just the most unique voices in the game, and she's just so expressive. It's almost like she's animated.
Fresh.
Like she's just, her expressiveness is just captured so well in so many different ways, and she doesn't even have a fucking mouth most of the time.
True.
And she manages to be so expressive. Like she is like cartoony in a way that like I could never dream of accomplishing with like Ryuko, who's like animated similarly cartoonishly. Like she's just so well done. She's great. I love interacting with her. Revy starts to get pretty like protective of her too. Because she's not afraid to like ask characters really introspective questions.
Right. It's just like the writing, but like Komi-san as a character is very
which
considerate.
Really makes some good interactions.
Right. It's like, but the thing is, like, for Komi-san to be this considerate, Phone Box had to put in that thought, and that's the best part, right? It's like someone cared enough to target, like, I don't know, like Natsuki about these stupid like bullshit things, and like it feels like the character cares, which is nice.
Yeah.
But speaking of caring, it rhymes with the name of the next character, which, given this is the lightning round, we should move on to.
From the Holy Bible, the Virgin Mary herself.
Yeah.
Bold statement. I did not expect
from the testament of the Nostalgia Critic. We have Mary
from Channel Awesome
by Walter. The Gospel according to Channel Awesome.
So yeah, after the birth of her son, she kind of went off in a weird direction.
But in all seriousness, Mary is an original character by Walter. This is her second draft. The original was quite different, but basically, Mary is
like a computer hacker type.
She's like kind of a basement. Yeah, she's like a basement dweller is what I would describe that as, but like someone who's like smart and capable, but like she contrasts really well with Tomoko because they were in development at the same time.
She's older than Tomoko, and she's like bad end Tomoko.
I don't know. I think
posting has gone to her brain.
I guess so. Wibbly, what do you think about Mary?
I have to say, first off, I just have to give props to Walter because it is not easy to kind of scrap so much and redo so much of a character and kind of like do a whole new draft of them. Especially with how deep he went in before he did that. And I know that can be difficult or hard sometimes, but, props to him with that. And Mary is interesting. She's gone definitely very different than the original draft. And I don't know, like, Yeah, I was gonna say that she's kind of in this kind of similar vein as Tomoko. She's got some weird, quirky, kind of semi-humorous things going that just kind of more of that kind of social awkward goodness.
I agree with Wibbly here. Props to Walter for taking feedback, listening to it, and making her better. Like, Mary did not have like 300 lines with like I think it was over 1,000. Someone maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
it had a crap ton of lines. And
yeah,
I think like honestly, if I were in his position, I would just give it up and moved on to another character. But he, stuck his nose in and got to work. And I think she works well. I mean, she's not, she doesn't really fit my preferences, so like she's not going to be my favorite. But I think a lot of people are really going to like her when they play there.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about her is that she actually has like sexual experience, so she has things to say about it, which I think is way more interesting than someone just like, I've never done anything. And for a basement dweller, it would have been really easy to take that direction, and I'm glad that we didn't do that.
I only roll my eyes when the character says they've never masturbated before.
Mary does not clearly does not have that problem.
For at the very least 18 years on this earth, and not once did your hands wander south of the border.
Anyway, I think like I will agree with everything that's been said so far, and I've been doing that a lot today, and I do apologize, but like Mary's great. I think she's a really interesting spin on an archetype that is pretty crowded in SPNatI already, because you have like Futaba and you have Tomoko and you have Amy, and these are all characters who kind of infringe on what Mary is doing, but Mary still manages to kind of stand on her own, and especially for an OC, that's really hard to do. I don't think Mary's going to be like a character that gets like a ton of like mainstream support, but I think like the people, Mary's an example of a passion project where there's going to be some like another character who's coming up that people just love. Like if a lot of people, like for instance, are going to like, say, I don't know, like Yuelia or Rainbow Dash, but I think the people that really like Mary are like really invested in her success. So I think you hit it out of the park, dude. As far as like flaws go, I do think her personality is a little grating sometimes and kind of like a little stereotypical, but given the genre, I don't wholly think that's a bad thing. So that's what I think about Mary.
Yeah, so Mary was that first draft was it was rough around the edges.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
She was just like spouting memes every other round, and that was not a personality.
Well,
but
what? Memes aren't a personality? Oh my god!
Your whole
How do I
life
even exist? My whole life is a fucking lie because I am just memes. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. But Mary is, this new version of her, she functions a lot better socially. Like she actually like talks like a human.
Yeah.
Which really helps like with interacting with her and stuff. And again, the people who like her, I guess they're gonna like her. She still doesn't quite gel with me. I'm a little more cool on her than I guess the others at this podcast. It's just, I don't know. I mean, you kind of compare her to like similar like computer hacker, gamer, nerd meme types, meme lords in her niche like Futaba and stuff, or Tomoko, and I mean, the fact that she's an original character and she's, at least personally, I don't think she's as attractive as either of those. So it's like, why would I really pick her? I feel like those two characters and some others just kind of do a better job than she does. I feel like she doesn't quite have enough to stand out. She's in a very crowded niche in terms of like where an original character could be, which I think is kind of a shame.
I think that's fair criticism.
Yeah. I think like the niche she's trying to occupy as an original character, it's already there. So I'm not sure.
I think you're right. I guess like just to like kind of reiterate what I said though, I think the fact that despite the niche being crowded, like she doesn't win in any of those categories, but she still kind of can do her own thing, which is like a good design. But regardless, next,
not for me personally.
Yeah, I don't think she's for me either, but I do think that she's there for someone. Someone's going to really, really like this character.
So going from an awkward shut-in to a woman who dances half naked on stage.
Shantae, from the Shantae series, which is, I believe, a series of like handheld games, like that are platformers.
The first one was a Game Boy game. I think all the others have been on like WiiWare and Steam and stuff.
Yeah,
PSN.
By
a new game just came out.
Yeah, Shantae is actually a rework of a. So Shantae did exist in SPNatI in a long time ago. This is a completely new version by SPNatI, and what sets this Shantae apart is that she actually is very animated. Like most characters in the game might have one or two animated poses, or every time they strip, they might take something off. Shantae has like just random animated poses. I'd say if SPNatI were like a game that were for sale, Shantae would be kind of the golden example of characters that are always kind of like fidgeting and in motion.
Yeah. She does the belly dancing.
Right. So,
basically.
Wibbly, how are you feeling about Shantae?
So, I actually have a funny little tidbit about that. I'm the kind of person who jumps at toasters when they go off, even though I'm the one that set them. And
oh no, I know where this is going.
Yeah. So I was sitting there and I was like testing her, and then it was going from animated to not animated, not animated. Then it got to this one pose, and she slowly opens her eyes after a few seconds, and I jumped back in my chair. But yeah, no.
And then she started crawling towards the screen.
Yeah, no. The amount of animations, they're very fluid, and all that stuff is done really well, and because they're done in a casual way too, for the most part. I mean, I'm not talking about like the monkey transformation, but like just the general dancing and whatnot. It's done in a way where like you can hold conversations while those poses are going on, and it's not like something people have to call out. So it's just a nice thing in the background. So I think that's good. I'm not familiar with Shantae's character too much, but she's definitely fun in the game.
I think she's just like generally happy, nice, magical girl kind of protagonist.
Yeah.
Wants to fight evil.
With hair. With hair that like might be bigger than she is.
Right.
Her opponent is Risky Boots, who is a half-naked pirate. Yeah. And she has friends such as Roddy Top's a half-naked zombie. And like some girl named Sky, who's a half-naked girl.
I think I see a theme here.
Everyone in Shantae just has big tits and hips, and they shake their hips.
Yeah.
Well, Corky, what do you think about Shantae besides titty big?
Booty big.
I'm with Wibbly on this one. Like the one pose that really was like that. The only animated pose I didn't like was when she just randomly blinks, and I was like,
what if all the characters just started blinking?
Her animation is
don't do this.
Awesome.
Please don't do this.
So the animation was awesome. It took me by surprise. Even like the transformation of the monkey thing, it was just really well done, and it stood out to me. I was like, wow, that was really good. I played all these characters last night so I could have like a fresh take on them for doing this. And she was one of the last ones I tested. It was past midnight, so her dialogue wasn't like standing out to me, but I was probably just too tired to pay any attention anymore. So it's possible that she might rely too much on the animated poses, but I would want to play with her more before I make that as a hard conclusion, because I'm sure it's great. I was just tired and stupid.
I really like the new version of Shantae. Huge improvement of the old one. SPNatI continues to impress. I do have the criticism that the game is not built around every character having animated poses, so it means you can have one that does it, but the second someone else adds a character that does the same sort of shtick, it's going to become really, really weird and kind of annoying, because either everyone else has to shape up, or it just kind of forever be well, why isn't this pose animated, which is kind of frustrating just from a longevity standpoint. But also, other interesting fact, just while we're on the topic, Shantae and Marinette have the same voice actress in the English dubs. So, yeah. So that's all I got.
Well, Shantae's made in English.
Shantae's also it's also Darkness. So it's Marinette and Darkness sound the same, which is really, really weird. And now I'm uncomfortable. So, okay, SPNanon, what do you think about Shantae?
Is there going to be a scene of Hawkmoth just beating the shit out of Mary, and she's getting off to it?
I think she had more animated poses when she was in testing. I think it's already been turned.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so
Hawkmoth beating the shit out of darkness is the mental image I have now.
I hate to be the negative Nelly again. I love Shantae. I think Metal Tar did a great job. I'm not quite as excited about her.
I'm glad that we're setting up this good cop bad cop thing where I get to be the nice guy. Thanks, spnanon. I appreciate you being the fall guy, and I'm just gonna
just being the more critical of the two.
I'm gonna rip ass.
I guess I'm like the Siskel to your Ebert.
Yeah.
Of SPNatI. But okay, so I love Shantae. Metal Tar does some of the most like artistically impressive and sexy stuff out there. Just look at Nami or like the Street Fighter girls. Like he does a great job with the pose maker.
He's
I've always been
but everything turns sexy.
Like her animated poses, like I mean, she's basically a stripper,
right?
Belly dancing and taking her clothes off. It's great. I think they're really, really sexy in a vacuum. In SPNatI, I'm not quite as big of a fan. I've never liked like the whole animated posing, the pose maker. I haven't used it. I don't really like it just because I don't know. It's weird. SPNatI to me is like a comic book. Have you ever read a comic online where like one panel is a GIF? It's really distracting.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at in my commentary. But go on.
I don't like it. I'm trying to read and it like distracts me. I kind of like how this game there's just like an orgasm pose, and you can just kind of take it in for a while, and maybe do some other things with the visual.
Some people play SPNatI for the dialogue. spnanon, I'm glad that you appreciate the little things in life, like static images of women finishing with ahia faces. What a cultured gentleman you are.
So I think they're great. She's really technically impressive. I wish she toned it down a little bit more, but overall, she's still really hot. I'm looking forward to the epilogue. I don't mind the animation and epilogues because you have to animate them fucking. So it's not a big deal. She does have one line towards the end where she says she has to pee, which is kind of weird. I don't know why she says that.
Yeah, well.
I guess she had to pee.
I guess she had to pee. You gotta go when you gotta go.
I don't really know what relevance that has.
But speaking of,
was that in one of the games? She had to pee.
Speaking of gold,
they're playing at a bar. You drank a lot.
Gold. Speaking of gold, let's talk about
the pirate's curse.
Fried gold of Erufuda's French fries. So Erufuda
the golden tassel
was written by SPNatI Mike. I don't really have another name for you, so I'm just going to call you Mike.
Going from an hourglass figure to a barrel.
I just, so Shantae is an elf with a little bit of a fitness problem. She loves fries. She's a little bit arrogant.
You mean Erufuda.
What did I say?
You said Shantae.
You said Shantae.
Mike, sorry guys.
So Erufuda is just Japanese for elf.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just say it out loud and you'll get it. But
Erufuda.
Erufuda.
Oh shit! I just got that.
So with that realization, Wibbly, why don't you expand your mind to the cosmos and go ahead and go for it?
Yeah. So I did some targeting with Mike with Erufuda, between Erufuda and Megaman, and the character was fun. Definitely not something like that I find personally like attractive, but the character personality was just fun to see. She was like kind of this. A lot of characters I notice when they're do stuff with Megaman, they tend to be very almost too nice with her at times, and that's fine. But like, it's really fun sometimes when there's characters who are like almost just as abrasive as Megaman can be sometimes, and they just pissed each other off a lot, but like they didn't hate each other either. It was fun. Just overall fun. I liked it.
Erufuda got fucking robbed. Like, in terms of like where she is on the roster. Like,
right, Corky, we know where you are on this spectrum. Go ahead.
Listen, the resort is a race, and she started to fall behind too quickly.
Well, I mean,
despite carbo loading for her whole life.
So well done. Her dialogue is just hilarious. I love it. Like, there's very few lines from her that just aren't amazing. Targeting her with Emmy was so much fun because Emmy is very passionate about eating healthy and fitness. So naturally, these two characters go together like oil and water, and it was just so much fun just having Emmy just like, I can't believe you're eating all this. It's so bad for you. And then everyone's like, I don't care. I'm going to eat more fries. And I just love it. It's amazing.
Oh my god,
Erufuda, a sassy black woman.
I think it's better that way. Like, now that I've heard that, I cannot unthink that. So thanks, Corky. That's gonna.
You're welcome.
That's your legacy. All right.
Sit your ass down. I'm gonna head to McD.
Oh God, please let's not and say we didn't and go on. Corky, sorry.
She fits an underrepresented niche that isn't my preference, but needs to be filled because a lot of people like it, and she does it really well.
Yeah.
Oh, she fills it all right.
Yeah. Hey, look, like
I'm posting a screenshot of a Target that I fucking loved.
Cards on the table. I think Mike did an excellent job with Erufuda. I think this is not a character for me, but I think like the fact that she exists is going to have a lot of appeal to the people that are interested in this type of character, and her personality is really distinct. So even if she wasn't like, the token BBW on the, on the roster, she more than carries her weight with her personality.
Oh,
she's worth the weight.
Oh, God. I can't wait to target Erufuda just because like she's such a bitch sometimes, and it's like I love characters like that, but like I don't think big girls can line of sight effectively, so it's just not as appealing for me.
Yeah, she's. I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Did you eat too many fries? Maybe your blood sugar's low. Go take some of her fries away from her.
Okay, so I like how she adds like the chubby archetype, which is definitely something that there's fans of it
We need that.
Ever since thick became like the go-to word for people to say when they actually mean hot.
I'm gonna bitch about that in the back matter. Just you wait.
Yeah, so she's got that niche now. That's good. I'm glad we have that.
Mm-hmm.
I also like she's still pretty accessible to me. Like I'm not into the whole chubby thing, but she's not like morbidly obese. She's just overweight. Like I can still tell that there's like a hot girl underneath.
She's about 30 pounds from being attractive.
She doesn't sear my eyes.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm very mean about this topic.
She doesn't kill my boner. So, and she's got a nice face still.
I'm surprised you're not more of a frat guy, spnanon, because I could see some commentary about that, but I'm not going to go there.
Okay. Look. I'm getting off topic here. Main point is I like how not only does she have like good lines about like fitness and stuff, but she's a bitch, and she's not afraid to like argue with other people about it and say like, I can get fit whenever I want. You don't know what you're talking about, and she'll like change the topic or like be defensive. And I love having the ability to like argue with her because I love when characters butt heads, and I love writing targets to her.
It sounds weird, but it is fun to write targets
it's so much more fun when people are antagonistic, because like it's just like, oh whoa, we're such good friends. Like that's great. Like those lines are important, but it's also just like I want people to like fucking hate each other.
Yeah,
and like just like be disgusted. It'd be like, why am I like getting naked next to you? They'd be like, oh, you're kind of hot.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I mean, yeah, the punch kiss basically. But May is really into fitness, kind of like Emmy. She's not gonna like curse her out like Emmy does, but she's just like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Jura likes nice skinny buxom women, and she's like, ew, you're gross. And Revy just calls her a fat fuck.
I think what's great is like SPNatI has like this last cast of SPNatI has been like a lot of things that like make people deeply uncomfortable but are still attractive. Like Saki from Zombieland Saga, she was on test for quite a while. She is a delinquent biker girl come idol, and she basically makes a lot of advantage of the fact that she is undead to kind of do some very unique things. I think she adds...
we moved on.
Yeah. You're welcome. Just
lightning
come along.
Round.
Yeah, lightning round. As we're at like 7 o'clock EST. All right, so Saki ZLS is, like I said, she's a delinquent turned into an idol when she's raised from the dead as a zombie. Sorry, spoilers, but really, like, come on. And
she does a very bad job of hiding that.
Right. So
she's
I think
a
like that's
girl from the 70s who's now in the 90s, who's now in the 2000s.
Well, I'll talk. Like the series takes place in 2018, so it's like it's been like 30 years effectively. So anyway, Wibbly, what do you think about Saki?
I think she's a fun kind of person. I know I've said this a lot, but I like. For me, the biggest thing is like personality over everything, and honestly, Saki's personality is amusing to me. It's very... I always like that kind of almost like overconfident kind of... But like she's kind of almost like awkwardly overconfident at times, but not aware of it herself. And yeah, she's a lot of fun. I think I like all the like unique things they do with the model and all that stuff. It's great and leads to some funny interactions.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, I'm a big fan. I want to write a bunch of targets towards her with Megaman. And that is on the horizon.
Well, I think her and Megaman would be awesome together.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be great. But
what happens if Megaman blows up Saki? Her body parts just go everywhere.
Megaman asks Saki how she feels about explosions, and the interaction is a little interesting.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I think Solitaire did a really good job with that, and I am think it's really cool. It was the first time I saw... I guess there's probably been other examples, but it was the first time I saw a character go straight from testing onto the main roster with an epilogue. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk more about the epilogues because they haven't been brought up much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it's really cool that he put out 2 epilogues like together, which is pretty unheard of to make epilogues at once. But it gives like I think it's really considerate on Solitaire's part to have basically... I like how he worded it for the cowards for the cowards and those who aren't cowards, basically. But if you...
We won't spoil the content of those epilogues, but there's something for everyone despite your gender, and not in the way that you may think.
It doesn't really matter because when her makeup on, like the inside of her is still dead,
I think
you can see like her grave birth canal.
It's a good attention to detail. She wouldn't put makeup inside of her.
I don't want maggots on my dick.
I've witnessed like I'll talk about this more when it's my turn. So Corky, go ahead. Sorry.
I think her art's really good. I like her art, and I think you did a really good job of giving her like a good voice. You know, I haven't seen the show, so like I would definitely hear it better if I had seen it, and I know how she talks. But I can tell that she talks like a biker by just reading her dialogue, which is good. Her poses are good, except for one. There's one pose that I really don't like, and it's because it looks like she is eating a candy heart. And once I thought that, I couldn't unsee it.
Well, that's taken like directly from the source, I think.
Oh, I believe it. I'm just being.
It looks like she's eating like a Valentine's Smartie.
So on Valentine's Day, that pose works really well. That's me being a stupid nitpicker.
I think Saki's
great. Edit that into the video.
Yeah, please do. I think Saki's great. I think
only I had video editing software.
Oh man, Solitaire, just during this section, just go nuts. Like, do what you got to do. Just make sure it ships before next month, or next year. So Saki. That being said, Saki's great. I really do appreciate. Oh wait, oh my God, is he typing? Oh, he can't hear us, but so he will when he gets this recording, obviously.
He knows that we're talking about Saki.
Yeah, seriously, that's some deja vu. But
he said Solitaire, if you talk shit about my girl, I'm going to add weird filters to your voices.
I love that Solitaire is doing our editing. But anyway, so TLDR, Saki's good. I like that she's like kind of in like the Ryuko niche, but like less bizarre in some ways. I think the art's good. I think the writing is solid. I think she's like a B tier character for me, and she's not someone I'm going to like go to immediately, but she's someone I'm going to use to fill tables, which is a good sign. And also just I've gotten to listen to like her and Solitaire and Napsu talk a lot about the Zombieland Saga stuff, and their like kind of efforts to get other people suckered into writing for that franchise. So it's just I can't wait to see a third one of these characters appear if it has the level of interactions that the first two do.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
I hope it's probably going to be like Yugiri, which is like the big titty Meiji era geisha. And,
yes, please.
And I would want it to be Junko, though. If Horse Killer wrote Junko, I'd be like, this is like the most perfect selection of writer-artist combination for character that I've ever seen. Like, he was made to write this character. But anyway, Yep, Saki's good. Great job, Solitaire. A+.
Yeah. So real quick, Saki. Now, Solitaire also wrote Miko from Toho as his first project, and Miko was such a sleeper hit. It was such a pleasant surprise to see how charming she was, and how she took like this weird esoteric source material and just explained it herself like so clearly and so emphatically that I was just I was smitten right away. Like I had so much fun playing with her, even though she doesn't have that much sex appeal. And people always complained that Miko always gets screwed in the resorts. It's like she is clever, but it's like
she's not that attractive, but she's extremely well written.
She looks like a boy.
That's fine. That's the point, right?
She looks like a boy. So I don't know what you expected, but now that Solitaire made an actual girl who's just as charming, just as fun. Love to put her on the table. She's like Ryuko, except she's like instead of the typical delinquent type, she's more like the boss delinquent. I forgot what the Japanese term for that is.
Oh yeah,
that's like good... the boss bitch girl.
Yeah,
she's not as embarrassed with the sex
stuff.
That's a strong take. She retains her confidence even with like the the more sexual aspects, and that's a lot of fun. She's just like really, she's like kind of edgy, but she's like cheerful, and always fun to play with, and her epilogues are great. So yeah, really, really solid addition. Love interacting with her.
Real quick, if I can get one more in, I was just kind of remembering the epilogues again, and I don't want to spoil what happens, but I think there was a very interesting direction that was taken with it in terms of like how you get to the events that transpire, and I think it was really well done.
So yeah, Miko gets robbed a little bit because she looks like a boy. But Saki looks like a girl, and she got the resort love that she deserves.
What did she do? Where did she end up?
She ended up right towards the top. I think she might have done better than Sakura.
I did the math on this, and I don't even remember. It's been really. I've been
a lot of characters to keep track of.
It was a lot.
I can check real quick.
Oh, she's like number 16, so she's like right behind Sakura. I think Sakura has like a lot more lines though.
Top 20 is good.
Oh no, she doesn't. Wow, great job. Anyway. Especially for like new characters. New characters is really hard to break into that top 20 just because like the people kind of take up rent and just stay there forever. So good job. You did it. Okay.
All right, so last up, which I think this is going to be our last character for this cast, and we'll come back and do testing later.
We will do the next cast will be about the testing or the current testing roster at the time of that cast.
Because I know this is the lightning round, but it's already been 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, that's
think
fine.
About
honestly,
the mass paycheck.
Yeah, you can't afford me.
Yeah, so PA-15, who is from Girls Frontline, some kind of weird gotcha game about girls with guns.
Yeah.
She's a French gun. She's like a little shrimpy squirt.
Her name is Florence. She tells like from the beginning, she's like, "You should call me Florence," and it's just like what, and just never explains
she's
why.
She's made by Misty Knight, which you can tell because she's jailbait.
I think I think Misty gets a bad rap for this, but I also think that it's just like Misty cranked this character out from like fucking nowhere, and I pray to God that Misty continues to develop because he is a really good developer.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Wibbly, you want to talk about PA-15?
Yeah, no, I did a brief stint where I tried the game she's from, and I just can't get into those kind of games. But so I wasn't expecting a whole ton when I heard about the character because I wasn't familiar with any. I didn't realize who was making it. I just heard that the character was being made, and when I saw who was making it, I checked it out, and I was really pleasantly surprised. Very, very kind of fun interactions. As I've said before, I'm always fan of that kind of confidence. But the thing that I think she does that not many people do is that she teases people, but in a way that's not necessarily like, on the level of like someone like Panty, or something like that.
Right.
And it's in a way that's like appealing, but not like overdone in a way to a point where it's like makes the character almost like starts parroting the character.
Right.
And I really, really liked it. In fact, I ended up having to make an entirely new pose for Megumin entirely because of the interaction, because I realized I had no pose that matched how Megumin would react to that.
That was great.
Yeah. And so props that I really want to continue when we were doing some amazing targets that are just wonderful. And once Misty's able to get back to targeting with Megaman, I want to finish those up because they were so much fun.
Corky, what do you got to say?
I really like the art direction with 15. She just looks good. She had a problem with her clothes, like kind of looking like they're floating on her because they just were really flat. But
are you calling her flat?
Props to Misty. You know, he got in and he pretty much fixed the problem. I don't think it's the update's been put into the game yet, but he's working on it and it looks better. And I'm really excited to kind of see further development with her and everything. I think he unfortunately kind of like he had to rush her into the resort and everything. So she's really going to benefit from the next few weeks or few months of kind of polishing her up and everything.
Yeah, I think PA-15 is great. Like I played Girls Frontline extensively last year because it was the only game that I could like sit down and get done in 15 minutes when I was like working on some projects. And Napsu played it like back in like 2016, 17, something like that with like some of her friends.
Old.
It's a pretty old gacha game, but
yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
I think it was like maybe 2017. I don't know. I don't really remember.
Might have been 2018, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think like for both of us, we were like, oh, it's definitely gonna be like one of the main casts because like it's a waifu simulator, but like it's like Fire Emblem for like fucking. It's Fire Emblem for Americans, basically. It's like people who really like people who like really like guns and just like waifus. It's just like it's great. Everyone wins, and PA-15 is no exception. It was not the choice that I thought. I also considered doing like a monologue in French for this, but I'm not going to do that because that's hilarious and unnecessary. I'm also very hot in my closet right now. PA-15 is good. Great job, Misty. Please continue developing. Please, God, don't stop.
Please.
She has a really good forfeit pose.
She's just good. She's just like a good character. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that I can be like too critical about, except that like it's like I think it's a really good sign when my criticism is like, just have more targets, asshole. And like that's like not feedback that is like good, but I think she should target more characters.
You know, she doesn't have like an epilogue or like crazy animated poses, but she's just such a solid character, especially for the short amount of time she spent in development.
She does have one crazy animated pose, and it's really good.
Oh, that's a good pose, the gun twirl.
Yeah. Well, there's another one.
Wait, what?
During the forfeit, and it came by surprise. And I'm not going to spoil it. Just go play her and find it. It's really good.
I did play her. I missed that.
I need to target a lot of stuff.
Anyway,
but yeah. The funny thing, even though I wrote Revy, I didn't know anything about guns. I don't know shit about guns. Either I have to play Girls Frontline, or I have to like look up videos about guns because I need to look up like what gun Revy uses because I didn't know.
It's not a real gun. It's like a proxy for something else. Like Battle Like at one point says something like, "We're gonna do this with our AK-74s." Like it's like a copyright thing, but
yeah,
I can talk to you about guns at some point.
Revy has like Beretta 92s, but they're like customized. So I had to look that up. And then like Juro's girlfriend Barnett has like a gun collection, so whenever she talks about that, I have to look it up. Oh, like CZ75 and like Steyr AUG and all this shit.
Oh, I do have one complaint about PA-15. It's that like her pubic hair is invisible. Misty, you gotta do something about that, dude. It's not good. She's
just a real solid character, you know, smug little shit.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're getting. She's entertaining. I'd love to target her more.
Yeah,
I like what I've done with her so far. I hope Misty stays around, continues to develop her. Good stuff.
He helped me out a lot with Mei Hatsume when we did the masquerade. So
also talk about like the virgin HK416 who got in and out of testing like 3 times and died every time. PA-15 speed runs testing, gets in there halfway through the resort. The Chad PA-15. Who would have thought a French gun would be the one to do it and a German gun couldn't make it?
I'm really glad there's a French character in this game that's not one of mine, so I can like actually have some dialogue. Even though Misty doesn't, I assume does not speak French. I just think having like a character with the French tag is good. Also,
is Ladybug gonna have some lines about a French gun?
She actually has like a lot of filtered lines to French people because autistic as fuck, and I just couldn't help myself. But like, yeah, great job, Misty. I think there's also another Girls Frontline character coming that I think is in the process of being written. I should probably know more about this, but I don't. I am sorry.
Okay,
anyway.
So that concludes our lightning round. This is for main roster releases. So this was characters that were basically released
between 2019,
in 2020.
Yeah, and now.
Because we haven't done a cast in 2020. The last one was like December 2019.
Yeah.
So this is 2020 main releases from like January to the beginning of July here, all the characters. So there's a lot of characters that are currently on testing that we will try to record probably next week. I guess we'll see. We'll see how it comes along. There's a lot to go over.
It'll be a lightning round too, and then after that we'll kind of switch into a more discussion-oriented format.
Yeah. So
thanks for listening.
Any final thoughts? Anything we want to quickly mention?
I could just talk about the back matter. I think like basically at this point it's like, hey everyone, thanks for listening. I think we're just gonna like bullshit for the next 15 minutes. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time for more talk about Strip Poker Night at the Inventory. This is nmasp signing off. We're about to go into the back matter, which is essentially us just shit posting. Oh,
I should mention real quick at the start of this. Probably should have put it at the beginning of the cast, but there is currently the fourth annual anonymous Strip Poker Night at the Inventory character feedback poll, which I put on the subreddit and on 4chan and all that stuff. Go leave feedback for all the characters on testing and online. So if you want to get in on this action, you don't have to join the podcast. If you're just some rando on the internet and you want to put your stupid opinion on these characters,
let your voice be heard. And also half of the feedback poll is like legitimate feedback. Air your grievances, talk to people about things you think they should change. Also like
shitpost.
Yeah, I mean, like I think I think the first year I made some comment about Launch being like, Launch is a character who changes personality very, very frequently in the game, and I was like, if I wanted to date bipolar girls, I would go back to Coffee Meets Bagel, and it was very funny. So
that's a deep cut. I don't think the Zoomers are going to get that one.
Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, it's okay.
People appreciate the shitposts as long as they're clever.
Yeah. So speaking of back matter, okay, let me talk about microwaves for a second.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Okay, so so you know how like in modern microwaves, when you open the door, it shuts off, right?
Yeah.
So I had like when I was in grad school, I was in a very well-funded research lab, but the PI was a little cheap. And also, so we basically had this like microwave from like probably the 50s, like if I'm being generous, the 60s, which didn't have that functionality.
God. Did it not shut off when you opened the door?
No, it didn't. So
you just reached in and took like a burning.
So I just basically, and it was just like, it's like getting like, you don't know what like getting a microwave feels like until you do it, and it's just like I still like have like pain in my hand from that because I was wearing like plastic gloves or like latex gloves at the time, and they melted on.
Oh.
So basically,
how long did you hold it?
It was like for probably less than a second because I reached in, it started to hurt really bad, then I pulled it out, and then like I had blisters all over my hand. I had to like wash it in the sink to like pull the glove off, which is like
Jesus.
So like Yuri Space Pirate, veteran that she was, made some comment about like degloving, and it was just like that like I like actually threw up a little bit thinking about that. Not the actual event, but like my own personal experiences with that. So anyway,
I mean, that term is enough to make me uncomfortable.
I've got a lot of like a lot of scar tissue on my hand, and it's just like I had to like learn to like write with my other hand to like do like accurate writing, just because it's like it's really stiff. So
just because you touched the microwave.
Yeah, well, no, I reached inside I opened the microwave and reached inside it. So like the microwave was still running at the time.
I mean, like physically touched microwaves though, like not like the machine. You touched a microwave.
I was in my hand was inside the microwave device, receiving microwaves into my tissues. Yeah. Yes.
That's just
so anyway.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so that's my microwave story, and I always I get really touchy about microwaving things these days. So like,
oh no, I understand that. I get.
I just I
don't think anyone can claim you're being unreasonable.
Was the food any good?
No, my hand was not very good after that, even though I tasted it. So people do taste like pig. It's actually true.
Yeah, no,
I learned that. I kind of idly I was biting on my knuckle because it was I was in so much pain. I just needed to wait for like the EMTs to get there, and it just like it tastes a lot like pork. So I actually can't like eat like pork things anymore either. So I don't eat bacon, and that's why Hanako is so funny to me. So anyway, big stories from the MASP's weird grad school experiences, and like I was just grateful that I didn't get kicked out of the program because it was like a very stupid thing to do. But in the scheme of things, like you don't usually expect microwaves to not.
I wouldn't say that's a
off.
stupid thing to do. I think it would be stupid to have a microwave like that to begin with.
It was pretty effective though. It got the job done.
Yeah, that's like an occupational hazard.
Yeah, but like
Occupation.
with the degree I got, there were like a lot of occupational hazards. Like the lifetime expectancy of people who are like in my specialized field of study is like around 20 years short of where like every other demographic gets.
That makes me think of people who work with ceramics, because it's interesting. It's
Dude,
like
ceramics engineering is fucking like terrible. Like that's like super bad for you.
Yeah, no, because it's
are you like a coal miner?
Essentially,
yeah,
it's
I mean, like
basically the
it's
same thing.
It's vaporized carbon, and like it's vaporized carbon silicates, so it's like it just infests your lungs and just never.
Yeah, no, they reach a point where and not only that, but all the glazes are really toxic for the most part. But there was this one guy who was a ceramics person. He's like, he reached a point where he can't go into ceramic studios anymore. And I guess that's a semi-common thing. Like, they reach a point where they just can't do it anymore. And I was like, that's sad.
Yeah, it's just like an exposure limit thing. It's the same thing with like nuke divers, like the people who actually go do maintenance on like nuclear reactors. Like, you only work for like a month a year for like 5 years, and then you're done. But they pay you like a couple $100,000 to do it because, you know, congrats, you were literally you're casting from hit points the entire time. What are some other things? So, like, I think, like, I want to talk about Amy in another episode, just because, like, I feel like that's, like, a topic I can get in on in depth. And then we can stop recording if you want, spnanon.
I'd still like to do, like, closing remarks and just, say, sign off and everything.
Oh, sure. So, yeah, okay, go for it.
So, Corky, Wibbly, anybody?
This is your friendly neighborhood WibblyWarble here to say, eat your vegetables. Konnichiwa, ikadakimasu, wink.
Oh my god. Corky.
Corky telling you to eat your prickly pears and be very careful while doing it.
This is a mass telling you not to stick your hand in the cancer machine.
This is spnanon saying quarantine is well underway again, so make sure you eat your pasta.
God. Good night, everyone. Thanks for listening into the back. Thanks for suffering through the back matter.
Now we've dated ourselves. Or maybe not, unfortunately.
Okay.
There he is. So just say whatever you want. You know, this recording will never leave my computer, so you can safely share any secrets with me.
Oh, okay. 1924, 2012. Wait, is there even a 19th month?
No.